Angelina went to the office door, took a deep breath, and went inside. She approached the girl, who was the administrator here, and said, "Hello, I'm at an interview. I have an appointment for 2 hours." Young woman looked into the paper, smiled at her, said, "Come through, please, second cabinet, 6th floor." "Thank you." Angelina headed for the stairs, and Virginia, who was the administrator here, sadly looked after her. Good, apparently a girl. Only if I don't work here for a long time, they will eat painted chickens, no bones left. Angelina calmly walked, not knowing about what feelings in the soul of the administrator. She knocked on the door and entered. "Tell me, why are you so educated?" They submitted an application, for example, department head or higher. "But first of all, you see, what a big gap I have between study and work, and secondly, I would like to work in the same company for a long time, and for this you need to go to the very bottom." "Well, it's my opinion." An elderly, strict woman with a smart face smiled and signed the papers. "Good, welcome. Your working day starts at 8 o'clock, everything else to you Virginia show tomorrow morning." Angelina raised an eyebrow questioningly. "Specify, this girl administrator, think that you already know her." Certainly, a very nice girl." Angelina thanked and moved down the corridor in the opposite direction. Virginia smiled. "How was the interview?" "Thank you, fine, did not say." "Tomorrow in the morning to you." "Yes, how will you come? I will show and tell you everything." Angelina walked out with a smile. Now she's not just wishing, and now she is a working person. On the next morning at 10 minutes to 8, a young woman stood in front of Virginia. You looked at her surprised. "How you early?" "Our ladies come at 8 sharp, and even at the 9th hour." "Let's go, I will show you everything." Virginia rules, and I went to the office. Here, this is where your workspace will be. A little not in the center, but for work, what do you need? Angelina looked. Tables stood as if a little away from other tables. Left there was a window from the table. About, front desk shelving. Togo, who is sitting there, will not be visible to other employees. Angelina was very satisfying, she wanted to work, instead of doing bullshit. Angelina already put the papers in piles, so, how comfortable she was. After reviewing everything, what was redundant, unnecessary, old, thrown away, moved one flower from the corridor to her window and turned on the computer. Smooth at 8:05, the first office workers appeared. A woman in her 30s, truth, they were dressed like they turned 18 yesterday. Cosmetics, it was the same. "Oh, but we are new here. I'm Rima, and this is Megan. You to us for a long time, hello. Hope, what, and amp, quote, yes. How is the name Angelina? Angelina. To her, faceted. For coffee, while we are here in the appearance of work creating." They went to their table, without even waiting for an answer. Angelina smiled after them and opened the program on the monitor. 10 minutes later, Rima came up to her. Something and did not understand. Where is our coffee? Angelina lifted her eyes. Not I know, I did not see, where did you put it? You what, the smartest I sent you for coffee. Directly you are confusing something. I came here to work, not as a courier. Roan from such impudence even lost the gift of speech, no one dared to answer her like that. Well fine, girl, I promise you, that soon we will stop seeing each other. Angelina looked sympathetically, you quit. The office heard laughter, even jumped up in outrage. She wanted to say something, but apparently there were no words, and she walked away from the table, slumped into her seat. I immediately turned to her girlfriend Megan. They started whispering about something, looking at Angelina, but she no longer paid any attention to them. On the monitor popped up the first envelope. Work started. She was so immersed in work that even shuddered when someone touched her hand. You going to lunch? Before she was Virginia. Oops, that time Angelina, I got up and took my bag. Virginia sighed. Wait, heard that our snakes have already grappled with you from morning to. These. Yes, it's okay, I'm oblivious. That's why they turn. Never don't leave your work computer open, and then you will redo all the work. All so bad, if honestly, it's even worse. I put a password here for everyone. So Angelina quickly did everything and their gear went down. Virginia on the way pointed to some doors, telling where it was located. Certainly, Angelina immediately forgot everything what Virginia said. Had lunch they are fast. Angelina came back early and noticed how Megan jumped off her computer. Angelina thought, well, started and calmly walked to her workplace. The day went by very quickly. Angelina missed work, missed you so much, that was enough. Orders, any, that popped up on the screen. This company was very interesting work built, you took on the assignments, which were a continuous tape across the monitor. How to send more cars, upload, respectively, so much you get. Judging after that, what were most workers doing? They didn't get paid much. Angelina is one of the last to leave. She saw what Megan and Rome have already found assistants and are actively solving something while looking at her. It's a shame, just won't let her work, but means we'll have to fight. She went down the stairs and saw who is also going home. Are you here? I thought that missed you. What area are you in? Let's go together. Angelina hesitated, then shook her head. I'm driving. Virginia is not upset at all, not offended. Well, bye then. Talk to you tomorrow. They said goodbye, and Angelina came out. Here talking to herself, that you have to walk to work. On the next day Angelina discovered that her chair should be smeared with something sticky and smelly, but it doesn't fit into any gate at all. Just some kindergarten. Angelina, under satisfied looks, left the office. She turned to Virginia for help. Young woman immediately understood everything and shook her head. Hard you will. This Rome with Megan came to us under the patronage of the chief accountant. Work, just don't want to, but they carry themselves like a queen. Nothing terrible, ever rewind to get bored. Angelina went to the office. Virginia shook her head again. It is unlikely. Virginia worked here for only 2 years, came after college as well as Angelina work in the office. She was just devoured, bombarded with all sorts of errands, because of which she simply did not have time to do her job. Certainly, a month later she wept bitterly after how instead of a salary she was given a calculation. Sobbed, she is close to the office. There's something, and saw her Mrs. Nelson, the same woman from the HR department. She remembered this girl, who a month ago came to her office with such enthusiasm. Today is like payday. There are such hot tears pouring. Hello, what happened? Do you work for us? Virginia looked at her and sobbed even louder. Worked. Mrs. Nelson took out a napkin and handed it over. Virginia, here, take. She waited until the girl calmed down a bit and then said, well, now tell. Virginia told everything, all. And it was so embarrassing, and she did not consider it some kind of squealing. She doesn't work there anymore. Mrs. Nelson understood everything immediately. Again, these two idiots. For a long time would kick them out if their aunt finalized the company. For a long time I was on easy footing with the boss. Mrs. Nelson only saw him a few times, yes, even a little. The boss had some other business, larger than it, so it was rare to see him here. So, stop for tomorrow 8. I am waiting in my office. We'll come up with something. Virginia sniffed for the last time and asked, hopefully, true run home. Young woman, when I started almost jumping along the path, Mrs. Nelson smiled sadly. Once upon a time she was so funny, beautiful, and young. How time is running. She devises Virginia administrator. Nobody stays long at this place because the amount of information was too large. But, how strange, this young girl figured everything out quickly, didn't lose any salary, but vice versa, acquired. When Virginia worked for a month and never messed up, Mrs. Nelson sighed with relief. Now they have a normal administrator. First time Rome and Megan tried to get her there, but after that, a girl wrote several memos for their lateness, and they lost a significant amount in wages, so they decided to leave her. It is more expensive to spend the nerves of youth urinating on a quiet life. She loves Angelina, been working for a month. I, certainly, twitched a little, but overall, she did well. Well, unless you count a pair of ruined trousers, two filled with something sweet, heads in these checks on paper, pens, and all sorts of other dirty tricks, then in principle, life in the office was almost calm. All who worked with them, divided into two camps, those who helped in every possible way Megan, and those who did not want to help, but I was afraid to take the side of the newcomer, so just don't get involved. The new girl turned out to be surprisingly strong. On that day, when she refused to go for coffee with these ladies, everyone thought what to do and left for a few hours, but they only held on. But the rack demolished all the intrigues Rome and her girlfriends. When they understood, so don't take it, then they began to dissolve Angelina with all sorts of rumors. One of which I told Virginia, listen, I know, that it's not true, but I want, so you know. Rome tells everyone that you came to us through the bed. Well, like you slept with the boss for that, to hire you. After all, many believed, because Rome gives him all sorts of signs of attention and everyone considers, which will be rewarded very soon. Angelina couldn't stand it. She laughed so hard, what Virginia decided, she's hysterical. Fast poured a glass of water and handed it to Angelina, thanked, but could not calm down from laughter. Virginia understood, what Angelina and the truth don't care, but laughs. Angeline, what are you laughing at? Nothing, I don't see anything funny. The guests are very funny, just until you need to know why. Virginia at first was offended, but then I decided that these are not her secrets. Maine, what Angelina not upset? Angelina came home. She smiled all the time, remembering the mysterious face of Virginia. When she told her the latest gossip, a young handsome man came out of the room. You in his arms was a girl about 3 years old. Who came to us? This our mother came, maybe, missed you. Angelina kissed her husband, then took his daughter, hugged her, and inhaled such a native smell. They walked into the room, it was already there, Nanny Angelina Eduardovna. I ate well today, but didn't sleep well. I think, what needs to be done to increase the time of the walk was a very nice woman, she has worked in the garden all her life. She decided to earn some money to help grandson. When this work turned up, the woman understood that the best don't even have to dream. Very nice family, pretty girl. People thought rich, but not at all arrogant, not arrogant. They liked it. What are they? Anna Igorevna said it right away, its sincerity just struck on the spot. So she got hired right away. First time was with them. She should have known who is next to the child, but seeing with what care the past treats the girl. Said husband, who is ready to go to work, when Nathalie sighed doomedly. Knew, what Angelina you can't argue, but what day to appoint meetings? Virginia, then fiddling with Evelyn, thought that she simply did not hear any other words of her husband. How which eye should I introduce you, announce that you are now their director? Angelina thought. She had a plan, but the woman did not know how the power would perceive it. Cole, and let's do it, Isenechka invests, and we'll talk about everything. No, I disagree. Angelina looked at him in surprise. Let me lay Senechka down, and you will give me your branded potatoes with a crust. Cole, have some shame, 9 dinner. Which potato with crust, when very naturally pouty lips, exactly as Angelina did, when was offended, she laughed. Fine, but that's just because I need your consent to a little scam. Christian raised an eyebrow and said, then say low. Angelina did not have time to answer, he had already jumped out of the room with Evelyn. Woman shook her head with a smile. Nothing does not change. For a long time, established businessmen and fried potatoes, which they often ate in their dorms, gave him at least every day. Potatoes were almost ready when Christian went to the kitchen. He hugged Angelina, but she pulled away. "I smoke." "Let's case first." That sighed and sat down on a chair. Angelina gave him potatoes. Christian pounced on her, as if this is some completely unusual dish. Angelina smiled. When pushed the plate away and said, but, saying something there, again came up with, "Cole, I want to come to the farm as an ordinary worker. I'll work a little, I'll take a look inside. I see reports here. Much more potential, what firms are doing now. I understand that you never will, but I want to figure it out first." When I thought. His wife has always been a smart woman, yes, and on the course they studied better than many. If not a motto, it is unlikely that now their business was just like that. You know, what a good idea. And I'll call HR tomorrow, I'll warn you. No, Cole, I know, what is there, in the office, girl quit. I don't want to come like that, for everyone to know, who am I? I want to come just by the announcement. Christian tapped the table with a fork. Angeline, how do you imagine absolutely fine? Nobody guessed anything. I have student pants, some blouses. I will become the most mediocre worker. Agree. I briefly. A month or two, but how could you refuse those eyes? I don't understand. How do you sing so much, when? Today, Angelina returned from work. Too much fun. Christian understood immediately that there would be something interesting. When the nanny left and Sonia already asleep, they sat down in front of the fireplace. Well, tell me, what did your colleagues arrange for you today? Salted coffee? No, it's too soft for you to put the mouse in. No, it happened before. Judging on your face, today was something much more interesting. I understand, they told everyone that you have debts and loans, so you endure their bullying. To kill you, you have absolutely no imagination. Today the office found out, and in detail, how do I please the boss to get this position? Christian examined me carefully, and then said, means, and then all through the bed before. Then burst out laughing. Remember, how could not stop. Exactly the same, like Angelina afternoon, when Virginia and told everything, calmed down a bit. Stroller 4. Well, no, this comedy needs to end. Certainly, finish. Let's to New Year here with 2 weeks left. But fine, if you're not tired of being a whipping girl, it's for God's sake. Angelina stopped smiling. By the way, I was told here, what Rome wants to marry you. Christian choked, what right up to the. Everything went crazy. Angelina was almost funny as well, as soon as he. In the morning she came to work. How usually, the office was buzzing. Today I posted an ad that this year there will be a grand New Year's corporate party. We what job, at least, invitation and Megan, there could be no speech. They even forgot about Angelina and did not touch. And all day long some of the colleagues, who now knew how Angelina got this job, looked at her with disapproval. And Angelina understood that she had no allies left. For a few days before the holiday, Rome and Megan went on the offensive. Certainly, Angelina, they were not a rival, too easy to see, that is worth. Clothes she doesn't and can't have, but still she was cute, young, what if you decorate? Although no, this upstart is clearly not friendly with cosmetics. In general, just in case, they decided to eliminate a potential rival. Rome generally made a big bet on corporations. She really hoped what would leave him hand in hand with the boss. Many were sure, which is exactly what will happen. It all began at lunch. All already back, but no one has really started to work yet. Rome went to her table, Angelina, and you go to the holiday, so he is for everyone, if I'm not mistaken. Well, certainly, I'm just going through. Maybe you have nothing to wear to me, the grandmother from the village dress, could report. People leaned out from behind the tables with interest. Now, seems like the fun will begin. Angelina smiled. You just saved it. Rest I look at things, took to work. What not a day, then a new outfit. Grandma something at your place, seems like, love to dress up. Office roared with laughter. Rome blushed at first, then turned pale, then leaned towards her and hissed, after holiday you do not work here, this I promise you. Angelina understood what Rome places high hopes on its irresistibility. In the evening, she had already left the office, and she met the same woman from the personnel department. Kind day. But how did you get used to Angelina smiling? Yes, everything is fine, but also great. How our beauties did not devour you in. Not to be devoured, well, sometimes they bite and eat on the wall. She also came to work in the office, but also. And swore. Angelina looked at in surprise Mrs. Nelson, I don't understand, if they only spoil the blood of everyone, why are they kept hereafter all from them, as from workers no sense? Mrs. Nelson sighed, I would have removed them a long time ago and taken those who will really work, but the prosthesis of the chief accountant himself is not in my competence. Angelina finally understood, why are these two ladies still in the office? But nothing, just a little and justice will be restored. Angelina, I left the office and almost immediately saw that I was standing at the bus stop and waiting for the bus. There was a blizzard on the street and the girl literally twisted her not at all warm coat. Angelina, without thinking twice, came up and said, you will freeze it all. Let's go, I will take you. Virginia was so happy that even hugged her, you can't even imagine how I got cold. They got in the car and Virginia looked. Here it's a car. Where you have such a nice carries, so, acquired by chance. They set off. Angelina asked, she rarely. Tomorrow's holiday is ready for you. Virginia went out immediately, me not I'll go. Angelina looked at her in surprise. This is why else sometime Virginia was silent, and then reluctantly said, my mom has been sick for a long time, and the outfits for such holidays are expensive. It is seen that the girl doesn't really want to talk about it, but Angelina couldn't let that happen. So, Virginia, that's not the point, we're going to the store. No, what are you? I won't be able to repay the debt. No need to. Who is talking about debt? You supported me so much, the only one in this office. If I can't give you a present, there was hope in the girl's eyes, but then faded. Angeline, I really want to go, I am very grateful to you, but I can't accept such a gift. Angelina already turned into the parking lot of the shopping center mast, and let's solve all these boring questions next year. Now we're going to choose our outfit. Angelina understood that all the same tomorrow everyone will know everything, so I could afford it today. She and I went to my favorite boutique and a girl immediately rushed to her salesman, Angelina, good evening, what to offer you? Virginia stared at it all in wonder. Angelina knows here, calls by name, and the boutique is not cheap at all. Virginia carefully flipped one price tag, and the hair on her head stirred. She immediately leaned towards Lee's leg, don't go from here, you saw prices. Angelina, Virginia laughed, calm down, we live once. After she turned to the girl, you see this young beauty? She urgently needed to dress for the royal ball. I spun around Virginia Ferries. Offers one, something else, putting on her dress, consulting each other. By hour they left the store, and you kept us silent. This dress, which I inflicted, cost about what salary for 10 months, X shoes and more. Holiday just started. All still looking at each other's outfits, exchanged the latest gossip. When Virginia entered the hall, such a sigh was heard by everyone. Virginia was so beautiful that those few men who worked for the company immediately thought that they were blind. Soon all relocated from Rome and Megan closer to Virginia. Receive wanted to tear and throw. She had a little understanding of the prices and understood what a dress Virginia I wouldn't buy myself. Means she got someone who can put Rome into place. She decided not to pay attention to her. At this moment, a noise went through the hall, and the boss came on stage. Rome showed the most charming smile and came close to the stage. Certainly, a true friend was there. Boss spoke, "All you know, that this company is not my main business. Straight away I want to say, so that you are not afraid of anything. Though the farm does not bring much income, no one will close it. We will develop it. Study it will now be a man who is much more versed in the specifics of work than I am. Want to introduce you, my wife Angelina." Angelina took the stage, stopped and smiled. Pleased to look at the beauties Virginia, who jumped like a child and clapped her hands, on Mrs. Nelson, surprised on the face of which was replaced by a kind smile, and then looked at Rima. If looks could kill, that Angelina would already be in that world. So much hatred and malice, disappointment in the eyes. In Rome, I got it. Here she has nothing else to do. I in complete silence and Rima, Megan reached the door and closed it behind them. Door. Especially loudly clapped in the ensuing silence. Angelina waved her hand, "Now we are walking." I haven't had fun in such a long time, she liked it. And people, and music, and I'm beautiful. Husband. When they got home, "Yes, Alia, mass media," I said, "you were the same today, as then, when we met. Only then you were more sober." Angelina turned to him and said, "I also need to help my mother." Virginia. Christian sighed. "Well, time is necessary, so we will help. It's a holiday and I'm already asleep." My spy Angelina never forgot anything. When she came to Virginia, home of a personal doctor, the girl cried. Angelina hugged her and said, "Remember, good always comes back." Mother was taken to the hospital, did a full examination and found that everything was not so scary as the doctors in the district clinic drew. If they were more careful, then everything could be cured. Virginia bloomed before my eyes. She already received 3 marriage proposals, and of course I reported to Angelina about each. Angelina did not completely change the state, said honestly, "What does he know, how they worked, who will not change here, maybe the most those went just a few people, and even the chief accountant put the application on the table for specialists." She and the truth was good, Angelina, I saw it in reports. She asked, "Tell honestly, why do you want to leave, but how are the girls, whom I brought?" "Well, anything happens, but very good workers, and I wouldn't want you to leave." The chief accountant looked at her for a while, and then she said, "I won't let you down, excuse me." She took the application and left. Angelina leaned back in the chair. She closed her eyes, mentally imagining your call, and whispered, "Well, now let's see, who can do better?" Sighed and back to reality. Nose, begin work.